My name is Amanda Hudson Allen, and I'm making this video to show you what a day in the life of an elementary school counselor might look like. The neat thing about school counseling is it looks different at every single school depending on administration, depending on the school counselor's program, and depending on the level of support. So I'm in an elementary school, and I wanted to just give you a little overview of what that looks like every day. And this is on my cell phone. We're going to do a walking tour because much of my day is spent walking around the school doing lots of different things. So we're starting the day in my office. So here it is, my humble abode. It always looks a little bit messy on my desk because I've got pending projects. And these fun circles on the floor are for a different spelling bee fundraiser that I'm a part of tonight. And I wanted to show you those because in elementary schools, we're always doing something fun. So now I'm going to take you out of the office and we're going to walk the halls a little bit to talk about some of the different duties and responsibilities and roles that I have throughout any given day. So right now, it is, November 16th, and we have just put up our big old tree. And the reason that we do this is because we have lots of students in our school that have silent partner needs. And what I mean by silent partner needs is they could use some winter clothes for the holidays and just for the winter season to make sure they're staying warm. Their family might need some extra food. Their families might really want to give them a good Christmas if they celebrate Christmas. And this is a time when we can take all these requests. I put them on snowmen tags, and people from the community and our parents and sometimes our students come up to the tree and adopt another student. So they bring in items for those individuals. So that's why we have a tree in the lobby. The tree is huge and it brings a lot of attention. So even though Christmas is something that's not celebrated by everyone, just showing the tree helps to bring attention that we have those needs up there and people are used to seeing them on trees. So just FYI. So right here, we're at my classroom. I do have a classroom this year that's different from previous years. And I'm going to show you this sign. Let me see if I could focus it. My class is called REACH. And I think we might be a little bit reversed because of how I've got the screen, but it's REACH, and REACH stands for, like you see here, relationships, engagement, awareness, community, and healthy choices. I haven't even been in my classroom yet this morning, and I need to set it up for the day, so this is a perfect opportunity. So my classroom looks a little bit different from other classrooms in the school because I'm not a regular teacher. I'm a school counselor. And what I cover with students in my classroom is all of those things that are in that REACH acronym. Awareness goes for self-awareness and social awareness. I want them to be able to interact with their peers appropriately, and I want them to have a better understanding of their own bodies so that they can start to self-regulate their emotions and learn coping skills for that. So I've got a pretty awesome room this year. I just like having workspace. We've got our tables set up mostly with no legs so that our students can just sit on the floor and work in little group activities. We've also got calm down stations over here. And this is something that if you're working in the community agency sector of mental health, you might have just, your office is very calming, but in a school setting, it's important to have calming areas for when being whole group is just too much for a student. So I have four calm down areas. I'll just show you this one to give you a basic idea, but we've got the little cubbies. Sometimes students like to sit in those, and that's okay as long as I can see them and they're safe. And over here up against the wall, we've got a little feelings chart so that they can see how they're feeling, and we've even got a mirror so that they can see their face and kind of start to self-identify those emotions that are coming across. Let's see, what else do we do in this room? The first thing that I do in every single one of my lessons is we pass around a feelings ball. I let them share how they're currently feeling, and then we all practice empathy by mimicking that feeling for my younger grades. And my older grades, we might just talk about the feeling a little bit more. So I said before that teaching or having a classroom is new for me this year. So in elementary schools, it's expected that you do some sort of classroom guidance. I don't love the word guidance. I don't think it's very It doesn't explain very much, which is why I renamed my curriculum REACH. And this year, because of staffing needs and school needs, I am the enhancement teacher for kindergarten and first grade students. So that means every single day I teach a 50-minute kindergarten class and a 50-minute first grade class. That's 50 minutes. And that's the way that this year has gone. And that's changed what the other services that I have in the school looks like, because that's 1 hour, 40 minutes of my time every day, so my other services need to look a little bit different. So in previous years, instead of teaching as much as I am this year, I have run small groups. Actually, before we leave this room, I'm gonna cut my computer on. But I've run small groups, and in the way that I do that is I get parent nomination forms, teacher nomination forms, and sometimes the students just self-refer. And I'll put the groups together based on who's gonna work well together, and we'll meet for 6 to maybe a maximum of 8 times if they need some extra support. And because I'm meeting students during their academic school day, I have to schedule my meetings based on the best availability for the students and the teachers. A lot of times that's during lunch. It may also be at the end of the day, and you roll with it. You work with what you need to, and you, one important thing about this job is being very well organized with your time and with just thinking creatively and thinking outside the box on how you can continue to get everything done that you need to. I'm continuing to walk us around the school because I think sometimes this helps me remember some of the things that I do every day. Whenever I'm not teaching my lessons, I'm usually checking in with individual students, or if a student has self-referred that morning or parents called me to say, hey, can you check in with them? They had a rough start to the day. I'll go and get them and bring them to my office, and we'll chat. Sometimes I may have already built enough rapport and I've got enough history with a student to where I can just talk with them very briefly in the hallway, and then we don't have to actually have a formal session. But it just depends on the student. Let's see, what else does a day entail? I work very closely with my staff members all the time, because if teachers are having issues with students behaving in the classroom, usually there's a way that I can support them with that. We know that trauma can come out in lots of different forms. We know that if your needs, like your basic life needs, are not being met, you can't really function all that well, right? Like, you can't think, you can't always process. My teachers are very aware of that as well, which I love about being at this school. This is my 8th year here, and I've been teaming up with my teachers each of those years to implement my program a little bit differently every year, just to make sure that it's growing and improving. But we've implemented a lot of really cool stuff. We have interactive tools for the students to use if they need to burn off some energy. And sorry, I was just looking in a classroom, but I don't think I'll take you in there since I don't have the teacher's permission for that. So we might use tools like having pedals underneath the students' desks so that they can use that to get some of their energy out or to help them refocus. We've also got a lot of teachers are now using choice seating to where students can sit on the floor, they can sit in comfy chairs, they can sit on yoga balls, or they can sit at a traditional desk, whatever works best for them. At an elementary level, you don't have sports that you're coaching, but I do advise a team or a club. I am one of the leaders of our student government, and that meets once a week before school, so I do preparation for that meeting, and then I work with the students in and outside of SGA. And my SGA school leaders, they do a lot of stuff in the school, like making sure that if there are issues, they bring it to SGA, and we talk about how we can go forward and meet the needs of our students and how we can make the school a better place. So it's a really neat organization to be a part of, especially as a counselor, because one of our big roles is advocating, and essentially with SGA, I'm teaching students how to self-advocate. For behavior management, like I was talking about before, other than doing individual sessions or consulting with teachers, I also sometimes come up with behavior plans. We are a PBIS school. This right here is our Ahoy Mateys little map. So we're explorers, so we decided that AHOY would be the acronym for our matrix. AHOY stands for acting safely, having respect, on-task behaviors, and your choice for making good choices. And I just share these things with you because the school setting is so different from all the other mental health sectors, and I just wanted to bring some of these little things to your attention that you might not have understood what the acronym was. So that's related to PBIS, which is Positive Behavior Intervention Supports or System or something like that. As a school counselor, you will also potentially be in charge of Section 504 plans, which is essentially a plan to help those who have a disability that's not necessarily related to learning. So 504 plans are really important for students, and I'm glad that I'm able to advocate for people or for students in that way. As a school counselor, you might also be in charge of McKinney-Vento students, which essentially is when you identify students as being in transitionary homes, housing, maybe not even having a home. They might be living in a hotel, but it's offering them additional support and protections because they fall within that category. Long story short, you're going to wear a lot of hats if you're a school counselor, but all of the hats, and I'm very proud about this, all of the hats work towards meeting student needs, making sure that you're advocating for what's best for the child, and I also get to work directly with parents quite frequently, which is a phenomenal thing. I really love it. I've read lots of parenting books long before I was a parent because I'm talking with parents every single day, and if I'm going to tell them I have some best practices that you can put in place, I need to make sure that they are sound, research-based, especially before I was able to implement some of my own, because before you have kids, you want to make sure that you're telling parents some accurate information since they are living the daily struggle of parenting before you are in that sense. I feel like there's so much more to share and there's never enough time, so I'm going to cut this not so short, over 12 minutes already, but this is just a little tiny glimpse of what school counseling is like, and I hope this is helpful.